live. Welcome to the Dfs Tournament Takes podcast, week 15 edition. I'm your host, Chris Kirkwood, Kirk D's, here with my boys, the one, the only, notorious one, Derek Farnsworth. Also joining us is Mr. Bobby Betts at Bobby Gomes, DFS, Millie Maker winner. What is going on, fellas? We're back for week 15. Sorry, we're doing the show. We're not doing our morning time, so now we're going back to the Friday time, and that's on me. I apologize for that, but I'm not sure how the energy is going to be for all of us. You know, everyone loves to fucking comment in chat on us, but I don't really care. But what's going on, fellas? How we doing? I had a break-even week. I lost on Yahoo. I won on Draftkings. I did fancy play syndrome on Yahoo, and I played Jamar Chase like a loser. But how'd you do, Nono?
Yeah, break-even week for me too. On a personal front, little man, it's always something, you know. His tooth was hurting, took him into the dentist, had to get it pulled, an emergency tooth pull, so he hasn't slept the last few nights. Been brutal. Now I get how you guys are feeling with little ones that don't sleep. So that hasn't been fun, but on the bright side, Bobby Betts, new segment on the show, 3-0.
Couldn't be running more running as that well. I can't even believe this will be the week that I'm definitely losing because we're hyping it up. But yeah, not really into the sports betting scene, but interesting to start off 3-0. What's it called? Yeah, talking about last week's slate, like main slates for me in general, I just probably shouldn't play them at this point. But Showdown, I've been there on Showdown a couple times. So last night I almost had the 50K and the 444, and then I see this fat guy running 75 yards with the fumble at the beginning of the third quarter. But my team still stayed in second throughout the rest of the Showdown, so I was kind of sitting pretty good in first prior to that.
Nice. Was it still a nice payout?
Yeah, it was a chop three ways, but it was still a nice payout. And then I had a couple good NBA slates. So yeah, I just gotta get right on this main slate. Maybe I should just start sports betting.
Showdown ripped my soul out for the Patriots game. I was like smashing the entire. Was it no? What was the or no? It was the 3-game slate. Whatever it was. What was the night when DeAndre Hopkins just nuked like the last quarter? Whatever that slate was.
Miami, I think it was Monday or Sunday night.
Yeah, 2-game Monday.
Yeah, I was smashing, and then I was so pissed at the end of it after that little DeAndre Hopkins just nuke. Anyways, this slate is interesting. We're not going to be doing the appetizer slate tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have to go home to my parents. They decided to do an early Christmas for us family members who aren't going to my sister's house. And they had to schedule it on the same day with 3 NFL games and the best UFC slate of the year, the biggest card of the year. So I'm bummed, but got to do it. But we're going to talk about Sunday and the main slate. We've got 10 games. It's kind of weird, right? Like we've got like a bunch of low total games, and then the 4 o'clocks hit with all the high totals. So we've got the 4 o'clocks start off with Washington at the Rams, 50.5 point total. Dallas at Buffalo, 50 point total. San Fran travels to Arizona, 48 point total. There's one of the 1 o'clock games with a semi-decent total, and I actually do like the game. The Bucks at the Packers, 42.5 point total. And then just a bunch of games from there. But so this slate's going to be interesting. Hopefully, we'll figure out who this week's Alvin Kamara is, and we'll go from there. But big picture overview, Noto, how's the slate looking to you at first glance?
Yeah, to your point, the best games are all in the afternoon, so I think this is going to be one of the more interesting late swap slates of the season. If you get off to a bad start with your morning guys, you definitely want to get contrarian in those late games. There's a lot of ways you can do that. There's a lot of chalk in the late games that you can bet off of. And then if you get off to a good start, maybe eat some of that chalk in those high total games. So yeah, I think it's a fun slate, and I'll be playing the 4 p.m. slate as well. I usually just take that off unless I'm absolutely dead in the main slate, but I think it's
No,
going to be.
I mean, if you're dead early, it's always okay. What's open? How big are the contests? It's like it's the first thing you end up playing, like Showdown Captain, like whatever's open. You're all right.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the injury front, we're kind of waiting on Miami a little bit. Achan's questionable. Tyreek Hill hasn't practiced yet. Houston's going to be really shorthanded without Stroud, likely without Nico, obviously without Tank Dell as well. And then you mentioned the Green Bay game. Both the running backs in that one are questionable too. Other than that, not a ton on the injury front. But yeah, it should be a fun week, and I think there are some good ways to build some unique lineups.
Bobby Betts, how's the handicapping coming? What you need? You need like to put like the pen in the ear, you know what I mean? Get a little.
I need the old school. You have like the clear pen.
The pencil. It's usually like a pencil. It's really old school.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much a backloaded slate. Like if you're winning early, you probably don't want to be winning early, I would say. Just with this Dallas Buffalo game, 50.5 total, Washington 50.5 total. Best scoring best like matchups between Washington and the Rams from the offensive side of the ball for both teams are very strong. So going to be targeting a lot of the late stuff. There'll be plays in the early stuff. It's just a matter of like what you can decide to put in your script, because I don't know, there's some plays and some you're going to have to play just because of their price points, but I want to have more of an allocation in my script to the later games.
Have you bumped heads with Tommy DeVito's agent?
Not yet.
Now, here's a fun fact. So my friend from home, like I've seen that guy before, only because a friend from home played football with him at Marist College. And I guess he got inducted into like the Italian American Hall of Fame here or something in Boston or something. I don't know for football. And I was like, he was dressed all crazy. I was like, who is this dude? Because my friend wrote like how proud he was of him, whatever and stuff. And then I saw him last time. I'm like, oh my God, that's the same freaking guy. And it is. It's crazy.
He seems like he is like stealing the spot guy for.
He dresses even. You should have seen him at this Hall of Fame. I got a picture. Like it's even 10 times better than what you saw at the game with his outfit. It's crazy. It was like a red suit. It was just like with this hat. It was like.
I didn't think you could beat Bajan's dad, but I think DeVito's agents got it.
I wonder if they know Big Dom from Philly, who I think didn't he get? He's not allowed on the field anymore. Or, did you see that guy for the Eagles security who got into it with a fan? He was a Big Dom. I don't know. Anyways, all right. Blitz most plays, thing I always look at first. It is Giants in New Orleans, most plays Atlanta, Carolina. There's some weather issues there. That's a game I could care less about for the most part. Then Dallas at Buffalo, Washington at the Rams. Thorman snaps and pace over at ETR. I always cross-reference them. He's got the up and pace games. He's basically got two up and pace: Dallas at Buffalo, Washington at Rams. So that might be a good spot to focus in on those two, but obviously, that's where a lot of the field is going to focus in on. But anyways, we'll break it down. We're going to start off at running back position, head over to QB, line that with the wide receiver, tight ends. I don't know if it's the Bobby or Noto. Maybe it's the Bobby and Noto defensive segment. And then we will give our favorite stacks for a large and small field. And maybe Bobby Betts will be back for another winner. Because 3-0, the people are going to be asking, want more for sure, all right, let's do it. So running back position this week, we've got massive chalk. So like everybody's talking about these top four plays. It used to be three, but we had some injury that I'll address in a second. But Kieran Williams is coming in, looking to be the most owned. Great spot against Washington, but Washington is a complete, obviously everyone says pass funnel. Their secondary is horrific. Their overall defense is just horrific in general. So the way that the Rams have been using Kyren Williams and the potential game script where they're touchdown favorites at home should be pretty good. He got 25 carries last week, 4 targets, 3 receptions. The usage is just insane. And then, even in his first week back from injury that game, he went absolutely berserk against who was it? Arizona. Yep. And he had 16 touches, 143 yards. Anyway, he's been crushing. And then, if he gets in the end zone, that's when you get that. You saw they did 41 fantasy points against Arizona. So I like him. I love him. I think he makes a lot of sense, but he's definitely going to be chalky. Then the next one is going to be Christian McCaffrey. So, those are the 2 studs everyone's going to want. McCaffrey, 9,300. McCaffrey could have nuked the slate, but just ran bad. He started off with that 70-yard touchdown, or not touchdown, he fell down at the 2 or whatever, and then they took him out for the play. And what was it? Jordan Mason ran it in. That was ridiculous. And it felt like that all game. Then Debo has been going off nonstop. So, but, the floor is what you get with him, and you get access to a great ceiling too. So I get it. This is a good matchup, where they should be ahead and just, hand it off to him for a good portion of the time. But, man, they're full throttle. You never know who it's going to be. They're just so good on the offensive end. Then the one that's interesting is Zeke Elliott chalk. We've made it. We've made it this far, fellas. Zeke is back. He's eating. He smashed Pitt, 27 fantasy points. The thing is, he didn't really smash. He only got 68 yards on 22 carries, but he did find the end zone, and he did get 8 targets and 7 receptions. So this Pats offense has nothing. They are getting Pop Davis back this week, but really they don't have much to pass to. So check down Charlie to Zeke is probably going to be the game plan again. There is some weather issues supposed to be here in New England. I think it's going to be rainy, windy, potentially. I got to double check that. But playing the Chiefs, who look horrible. Then the last one of the chalk is going to get in some steam. Is going to be Antonio Gibson, because Brian Robinson is not going to be playing this weekend. So they're down to Chris Rodriguez, I think it is, as the backup, and he may get some carries. He may not. I mean, they may lean on Gibson as a full workload. They may just, Rodriguez may get a bunch, but regardless, it's the passing back that you want in this matchup against the Rams, because they should be trailing in a game that could put up a lot of points. So Gibson, I like him better than Zeke, but I'm interested to hear your guys' takes. And then from there, you can go anywhere you want. But that's where the chalk's gonna focus around. And then there's plays like Tony Pollard, Rashad White, who just keeps getting it done, Bijan, Barkley, my boy Chuba Hubbard, Breece Hall, who I love Breece this week, actually. We'll get to that. But anyways, who are your favorites, Noto? What are you doing with this chalk?
I think I'm eating the chalk, all the chalk. I like all those guys. McCaffrey just gets there every week. It does seem like the narrative, or at least the play calling, has shifted a little bit inside the red zone. Now that Brock Purdy's an MVP candidate, it doesn't seem like they're forcing McCaffrey the ball as much in the red zone, but still think, he's a great option. He had 52 fantasy points against the Cardinals earlier this season. So I like him, love Kyren Williams. And like I've done, a bunch with Purdy and McCaffrey, I think you can play Stafford with Kyren Williams, just kind of look to get all the touchdowns from the Rams. They got one of the higher team totals on the board. The value plays, I do like Zeke. He looked shifty, dare I say, last week. He looked pretty good, just the eye test. But I thought he looked good. I like that, he's getting a lot of targets. And then you mentioned Antonio Gibson, just pass catching back in a game where they should be trailing. So, yeah, I have a hard time finding a problem with any of those running backs. I do like Bijan quite a bit. We got some weather in that game. And for whatever reason, even with Vita Vea out last week, Arthur Smith just decided to throw the ball a bunch, and they lost the game. So I think we're going to see a ton of rushing attempts for both Algier and Bijan in this one. But, I think he's interesting. I don't think I'm going to get too cute with anybody else. I'm always fine with Rachaad White. It's a good matchup for him. Pollard's fine. He's probably a better play on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. I don't have a bunch of interest in anyone else. I think people are going to chase the Chiefs running backs. I wasn't too impressed with either of them last week. Do you guys have any stronger takes, Bobby?
For me, in terms of the Chiefs running backs, like it'd probably just be McKinnon. But that's like large field stuff. My running back pool is going to be pretty tight. I would say I'd definitely have McCaffrey in there pretty heavily, Kieran, and then Tony Pollard and Zeke I might come under on. Like Rachaad White a good bit at 7K versus Green Bay. It's just a spot where he's just seeing so much volume now. It's tough to get away from him. He's priced right above Pollard, 300 above Pollard, and 300 below Kieran. So definitely have interest in him. 500 below Kieran. Sorry. Bijan's another one that I think I'll be overweight to the field on for all the reasons that you guys both gave. Antonio Gibson, I like him. He's the only running back there. It should be a pretty back and forth game, so don't mind Gibson. Yeah, my thing with Zeke is like he's doing it in the passing game, and if he's going to be so egregiously chalky, he just might be someone to come in under on. He'll be in my pool, but I think I'm going to take some shots elsewhere. I like Chuba Hubbard at 5'6", right below him versus Atlanta. Atlanta's been hemorrhaging to the run, so I think you go to Chuba as a pivot there, get over on Chuba. He's only projected for like 7% ownership, so like Chuba a good bit.
I got to play. It seems like nobody wants to play again, which I don't understand why. So what if I told you there was a running back that got 2 touchdowns in each of his last 3 games? And we're looking at 18 carries, 21 carries, 17 carries in the last 3 weeks. And it's a guy that usually has big months of December. Would that be of interest? Would that be of interest to you? In a game against Houston where they're without Stroud, they're probably going to struggle on the offensive end. This could be like the perfect game script for him. You could pair him up with the Titans D, and people aren't going to want to play him again for some reason.
Yeah, I'm on board. Anytime you start a sentence with "What if I told you?" I'm in. It doesn't matter what you say after that. So, yeah, it's December. We played it. I think we played him one of the last couple of weeks, but we should have just been playing him every week because he does this every year.
Yeah, we played him against Carolina, I think. I played him in cash that week, I think, and he did well. Man, what a disappointment Kamara was, but could this be the flop lag spot, Bobby, for Kamara?
Versus the Giants, yeah, for sure. Like they're obviously really struggling against the run. It's just a matter of like I want to get as much McCaffrey and Kyron. I think you just made a good point to Henry. Kamara's 8,600 too. Like I know a lot of
Williams got more carries last week. True.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but and Taysom's back this week.
Oh, it's so no Kamara. I can't do that.
But it's like he know when he's going to be coming in like completely no ownership, and like you could certainly see it like it could happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he has the burst that he's had in previous seasons.
I had a same game parlay that every leg hit except for 59.5 rushing yards. He had like 49 in the first half. Didn't get there.
We can't hold these people. We can't hold them accountable like that. We have to forget about that. But we can't say that Kamara doesn't look spry, or what did you say he didn't look like, Bobby, a second ago?
I just think he's lost a step, like in terms of
when we're talking about
Zeke.
We're talking about Zeke. We're talking about Zeke chalk, and
I said I want to come in under though.
He's like half the price.
Yeah,
I know. All right. I like Breece Hall. So okay, let's talk about that Miami game a little bit. The Jets are full throttle ahead here. Seriously though, Miami struggled in their last game, and their playoff picture is gonna, the Bills are coming. Bills have to win out though, pretty well or close to. I actually bet the Bills to win the Super Bowl with the, hoping to hedge at some point at like 35-1. It's getting shorter, and I think it's at like 18 right now. I should have taken it at 50. But anyways, I like Breece Hall in this game a lot. I think Miami's going to struggle. I think the Jets D is elite. I think the Miami's offensive line is completely decimated, which is true. Like they don't have a single starter from their week 1 starter, I think, on their offensive line for this week. And I think the Jets D is going to dominate, and especially if Tyreek is out. Or if he's hobbled, and they're probably going to not want to mess with his ankle because they're going to need him, down the stretch, especially for playoffs and whatnot. But this is a kind of big game for them, but we'll see how that turns out. But if he's out, man, I think Breece could go nuts in this game, and I love the Jets D with it. But those are my guys. I got one more situation to ask you guys about. I saw what's his Aaron Jones is looking on track like he's going to be back. I mean, man, I played this guy way too much. He's crushed me this season. So I need to find the right spot to make it back with him this season. But Dylan, broken thumb, going to have a cast on if he plays. Should mess with ball security also in the passing game. I mean, they said they were thought about playing. Aaron Jones was like really close to being back last week. They said, and could have played last week, and so maybe he's full throttle. No one's going to want to really touch him, and he's 6,500 in what should be a positive game script for them, and in a game that I kind of like. I know we like the passing game against the Bucs, but I mean, a healthy Aaron Jones could be a big part of the passing game. Anyone?
I'm fine with Aaron Jones. I think I prefer some other running backs in that range, but it's like Bijan at 68, Breece at 64, who you mentioned, I like a lot. But if people are just not going to play him, I think there's definitely credence to playing him on this slate.
And, it's like I'm just looking to take out Zeke wherever I can, and trying to find guys somewhere in that price range, whether it be up or down. But so those are my guys right now. Those are my guys. My guys are Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, potentially Aaron Jones. I like your Rachaad White call, Bobby. I mean, the guy has just been as consistent as it gets for a long time now. I mean, and he's great in the passing game. So, I'm on board there. A-Chain's out. If he's out, obviously Mostert gets a massive boost. But, you guys got any other flyers, or should we move it on?
Ready to move it on, but I do like your Bills bet. This week, I actually bet them to make the playoffs, win the division, and win the AFC, so I'm right there with you. The Jets, after this game, got the Cowboys and Ravens, so pretty clear path for Buffalo. And then they got Buffalo week 18, so that could.
This is a huge game for them. They gotta beat Dallas here.
Yep.
All right. QB. This is where it gets kind of ugly. Right? The toughest spot. So it's like we're already looking at cash game chalk Matthew Stafford, who provides no rushing upside on a team where they're just 7-point favorites. And yes, could be a good game, but also they have a running back who gets insanely high usage, right? So this could end up poorly for Matthew Stafford, and he's chalk, he's cash game. I get it. There are weapons you can pair with him, so that makes it more appealing. But then from there, there's Brock Purdy, 6,800, who just keeps getting it done. I mean, but then again, if you give Head Chopper those kind of weapons, I wouldn't put it past him to get it done as well. So anyone could probably do that, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think? So this is a big Dak. This is a big week for the Dak versus Purdy MVP potentially. if the Cowboys lose, does Dak fizzle if Brock puts on another nice performance?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Then there's Sam Howell, Josh Allen. But he's 8,200, so he's tough to get to. I actually like trying to get to him, and I think maybe you could even play him naked. He's coming off of 10 rushing attempts. Now, he didn't do much in the rushing yard, but he did have 10 attempts, did rush for a touchdown. But with like the whole season on the line for them at this point going forward, I mean, it's time to use his legs. And Diggs has not been hasn't been the Diggs of the past where you can just rely on him for massive production. So it could be anybody. So I wouldn't mind playing him naked, to be honest with you. But obviously you can pair him, you can find pairings. Jordan Love is in the mix. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on maybe Tommy DeVito. I'd like to hear if he's playable, but who you got? No. Justin Fields, Dak. Dak is going to have no ownership, so there are kind of some decent options.
Yeah, like Josh Allen, if you're paying up, I think in the tough matchup, we're probably going to see even more him doing it with his legs. So I like that. I saw a tweet of Brock Purdy making a pizza, and somebody quote tweeted, said, McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle probably made the pizza, and Purdy just put the toppings on. I thought that was pretty funny because he's just not getting any credit. I think he's pretty good, but people just refuse to give him any credit. He's a good bet for 2+ touchdowns. I don't mind Sam Howell on the opposite side of the Stafford game. And then when it comes to Stafford, I mean, Washington, dead last in DVOA against the pass, dead last in dropback EPA, dead last in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. And since the trade deadline, they're dead last in pressure rate since they traded Chase Young and their other good pass rushers. So it's hard for me not to, play some Stafford, but we never get 20% owned quarterbacks. So this is kind of unprecedented on a
who
big
can't run.
Like this. Yeah.
Who can't, and they have they love to just hand the ball off.
Yeah. I think he's good for 20, but he's probably not going to win you or lose you anything.
In tournaments, I'd probably just completely be off Stafford, but I get it in cash 100%.
Well, I mean, he's going to be popular in tournaments for sure. So that's a good fade if you like it. Can we go back to Sam the Man Howell?
20+ and 6 straight.
Decent and matchup. Doesn't have Brian Robinson to hand the ball off to anymore.
It's true. Who do you pair him with, though? That's always my problem.
You just Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
I think you got to take the gadget Curtis Samuel guy. I mean, I want to say Terry McLaurin, but I've lost enough money on Terry McLaurin this season. I'm good to.
They're vulnerable in the slot too, the Rams, for what it's worth. So I would definitely prefer Curtis Samuel.
You gonna have any Tommy D?
I should have some DeVito. No DeVito for me currently, unless you guys kind of sell me on him. I do like Davis Mills at 4.9 if you pair him with Schultz going down the list. But like you guys said, I feel like quarterback is pretty similar to running back. I like Purdy. I like Allen. Mahomes is going to be low owned, but he hasn't got over 22 fantasy points literally all year. Doesn't seem like there's much of a ceiling there. I love Rashee Rice, but not a ton of interest in Mahomes.
We get an angry Mahomes narrative, though.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce missed Taylor Swift's 34th birthday party or something.
Oh. Who was more upset? Giannis not getting the game ball against the Pacers or Mahomes after that call?
Oh, he killed my Damian Lillard narrative bets. Giannis just took that game. Dame couldn't do anything.
No one even played him in the 888 on DK. I don't even think he was on the winner with 90.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. He had 98 FanDuel.
I don't know there's no one I think Will Levis is a little bit interesting with Hopkins versus this Houston team. Like this probably would have been a game we'd be targeting if Stroud was in. So I just don't want to like overlook it now. 5-4 is very cheap. I like Jordan Love too. Pass funnel Tampa, we've kind of attacked it all season. I would imagine that a 4-9 Jaden Reed is going to be extremely chalky on the slate. So getting some Love exposure probably wouldn't hurt. Getting over on Love. Yeah, not many quarterbacks. Like if Dak's, what do we have for ownership on Dak?
Low, which I think is going to be wrong. I think he's going to steam a little bit just because
He's got to steam if it's low, right? Because the pass rate over expectation so high for this team at this point.
It's just the total, like the total too. It's like on a slate when we got a 50-point total in a game where you could see a shootout. No, like obviously you could see a shootout. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but you could see it.
Does anyone have like a solid stand at the quarterback position? Like for me, I think it's like Purdy. I just gonna keep trying to and playing. I think that San Fran's just so much better and so much talented than all these other teams. So I think I'm gonna go Purdy.
I like it. I like. I think I'm gonna probably end up going back to Howell. I might play Josh. I'm definitely going to fade Stafford. I played Justin Fields last week, so I played them. I played him with DJ Moore. I played him with no bring back, which actually helped. But
Joe Flacco, 89 pass attempts the last 2
yeah,
games.
Flacco is chucking it like that. So this game both and the Bears look much better, but the Bears offense, the Bears defense looks like 10 times better than it was earlier in the season. That's what screwed me is I almost did the full onslaught with no bring back with the Bears defense, and then I played the Bills defense instead, that's what screwed me for like top cashes.
Cleveland plays a ton of man. If Fields is like running, it could be a good spot for him at 7K.
He's definitely running. He has turned it up the last 3 weeks and is running, and they're coming along for the ride. So I like Fields.
I'm with you.
All right, we kind of named everybody, but all right, let's move it over to wide receiver. This is where it's interesting. So in order to get the current CMC and use one of the other cheap running backs, it's tough you gotta go mid and lower for your wide receivers. It's tough, it's tough to play CeeDee Lamb at the top end, who's probably an even better play because of that. But so the guys that are going to be popular this week are going to be Garrett Wilson, who just gets it done. He had a big game last week, 23 against Houston, 14 targets, 9 receptions. Another, they're traveling to Miami. I think I think the Jets might win this game, to be honest with you, but I like the play. Jaden Reed, man, they screwed up that game against the Giants. I don't know why they kept having to do like end arounds to Jaden Reed. Like they were like LaFleur just shot them in the foot like multiple times over because it worked like in the very beginning. They should have like quit while they were ahead. Man, there's a lot of coaching malpractice. Really great to see Staley get fired today. That was a fun game last night. Yeah, about time. What a fraud he has always been. And then to get Kellen Moore on for the offense. But anyways, Jaden Reed, Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be Chuck. I kind of like it because it's in the dome. I think he's just going to get a ton of targets. But I could see it. You could obviously make a case to fade that. People are talking DeMarcus Robinson up. I don't really see that. I used to play that guy way earlier than anybody ever did, and he's never done anything ever with in the best passing scenario with Patrick Mahomes. But Puka, CeeDee Lamb, Hopkins, Kupp returned to have a decent game finally last week. We got the San Fran guys. I don't know. It's just, and then there's like the cheap guys like Demario Douglas, but I don't know. I'm totally confused at wide receiver. So somebody set me straight.
Go ahead.
Jaden Reed kind of is a linchpin in construction, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. In terms of the value range, like you talked about that mid range. Demario Douglas down at 3.9. I think he's interesting in that KC New England game. Romeo Dobbs is there at 5.3. I'm just hitting the mids first because I don't know. That's kind of where I think you need to get it right. Curtis Samuel, I think, might be all of our favorites come Sunday at 4,600. If you he's not going to have the Reed ownership. It's a good matchup. I'd be looking not to get away from him. Definitely to be significantly over the field. Xing Wandale Robinson at 3.7. There's no way I'm playing him. Those are pretty much all the value guys that I have any sort of interest in. You can take your shots on Jalen Hyatt and stuff, but good luck. Up top, Hopkins at 6,200, I don't hate. Brandon Ayuk, the week has to come. It seems like it's Debo every week. When's the Ayuk week going to come? I could see it being this week. CD is my favorite receiver on the slate. I know people are going to try to figure out the Rams receivers. I think more people are leaning Kupp. I lean Puka. But Puka's a little banged up too, so I don't know. 7,300. I'm fine playing Puka. What's Kupp's price at 78? I'm playing both of them, obviously, but I think I'm going to have more Puka. And then Mike Evans at 7,500. Jair Alexander, if people are worried about the matchup, he's not really a great cornerback at this point. So I can play some Mike Evans. Rashee Rice at 6.1 is going to be chalky. Garrett Wilson, those guys will probably be strong plays in cash or just GPPs in general. I do wonder where DJ Moore ends up. He's going to be the tough one. I think he's a very strong play, but on the other side of that, the floor is very low, where the ceiling could be extremely high. Cleveland's very good in the versus the pass, but they also have.
I think they're banged up this week, though.
Oh, they're banged up. Yeah, so I like Moore a good bit then. Just the usage is incredible. He's his first.
I love Moore.
Yeah. Maybe I should be more interested in Moore at 6,900 than I was. So now I'm just becoming very interested in Fields Moore stacks overall. Wow, Demarcus Robinson. He looked good last week, but is that going to carry over? He's been in the system, I guess. So take a shot. I feel like it might be a little bit of chasing, but his price is good at 3.6. I think I'd prefer him to guys like Wandale for sure in that same range. And that's pretty much wide receiver for me.
No.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Bobby said. I do like Rashee Rice quite a bit. Not the best matchup, but if you look at his percentage of routes run, it's gotten higher each of the last 4 weeks. It was up to over 80% last week, and he's just been awesome. He's by far the best, wide receiver on that team. And, more bad drops from Kadarius Toney, MVS last week. So you got to think Mahomes is going to start peppering Rice with more targets. Love the CeeDee Lamb call. I think just because everyone's spending up on C-Mac and Kieran, they're not going to get to CD, but he's been awesome ever since the bye week. One of my favorite plays as well. And then I'm fine with Jaden Reed. He's a guy that projects well, so he's going to be popular. Fine with Wandale in the dome, like you mentioned, Kirk. I think Hopkins is interesting. If you want to attack that Houston secondary, they've been bad all season. And then I feel like Diggs is eventually going to have a big game, but I keep chasing it, and it hasn't worked. So do you guys have any Diggs interest?
Sure, right? Big game. You would think this is when they have to use him.
He's just so expensive. His price never comes down.
Yeah. Interesting thing. I was watching the Blenders Morning Show on Monday with McCool, and I loved it because Blender was complaining about playing Jonathan Mingo, and saying that, the blitz, it was because the blitz was like pumping out Mingo. If you like on Sunday morning, like it was like a blitz optimal play everywhere. And McCool was like, even I didn't play Mingo. And McCool said, of all people who said, he goes, sometimes you got to know ball. And you know what I mean? And he's like, you didn't see him try to make the worst sideline catch ever, and it was, I loved hearing it. I loved hearing McCool back up the, you got to know ball people. Anyways, I thought that was really funny. Check out his show. It's a great show every morning on RotoGrinders. I think it's at 11 a.m. All right. Do you have a preference of if you had to pick one of these low guys like Demario Pop Douglas, Demarcus Robinson, Wandale Robinson, maybe even Darius Slayton? I'm trying to see who else. Any of your who's your favorite if you had to pick one of these like low-owned guys? I mean low salary guys, sorry.
It seems to me like the answer is supposed to be Robinson, but it's just a one game. Is it more than a one-game sample size? I know he was targeted a bunch, but
I mean, it was 7 targets. He finally got yards with it, 79 targets. But the thing is, they really gave him 2 really nice designed rushes. But no, the weeks before that, it's 5 targets, 4 targets. So it's
yeah. All right, I can play him.
I'll go off the board. I'll go with John Mechie.
Oh, go. Tell me why.
Against the Titans. Snaps one up last week. No Nico, no Tank. Pass funnel there against Tennessee. And Noah Brown hasn't played the last 4 games, so we'll see, how effective he is. He's still questionable as well, but he's probably going to play. But yeah, I mean, he could be an interesting option in that game. We don't know who Mills likes throwing the ball to yet. Might be Mechie.
What did he get for targets?
Might be Mechie.
5 last week.
You know who else it might be? Might be to some Tennessee cornerbacks who end up getting a bunch of work from him.
Dude, play the Mills, Mechie, Henry stack. That's nobody's gonna have.
I don't hate it.
I'll defer it to Bobby. I'll let Bobby play that one.
I kind of hate it. I don't know.
I like everyone hates Davis Mills. Wouldn't he have been the number 1 pick if he waited a year to come out? I don't remember when Mills was a little bit good. He was good. They were good that first year. He was the rookie. Wasn't he rookie of the year or close to it? Tennessee secondary isn't the greatest.
No. So we'll see. I'll be sitting from the sidelines. I'll be rooting you on though. I'll have Henry. You'll
have Henry in the defense.
Yeah. All right. Tight end. Trey McBride is a beast. Can't deny the usage. We're talking 9. Okay, last 4 games, 9 targets, 7 targets, 9 targets, 9 targets. And he's getting, good yardage with him. And he found the end zone last week, had a big game, or 2 weeks ago, because I think they had a bye. But anyway, or I don't know. I think he had a bye or something. But last time he played was against Pittsburgh. And 8 catches, 89 yards, touchdown. I mean, he's got legitimate wide receiver usage, so I get the play. Probably not the greatest matchup against San Francisco, but they're probably going to have to air it out. So I can see it. The other guy's getting the low end. People are going to go right down to either Chig Okonkwo or Tucker Kraft. A lot of people, everyone loves Chig. I personally, I like Tucker Kraft. Give me if Watson's still out, give me the tight end for the same price who's just, who's getting good usage and passes the eye test and is playing Tampa Bay. Give me anyone against that in the passing game against Tampa Bay. But David Njoku went berserk last week, so he's going to get some ownership, Other than that, it's kind of rough. Jake Ferguson I like because I think it's a big game for Dallas and for Buffalo, so I like that. George Kittle, I mean, it's just tough, right? I don't know. I can't call when he's going to have a massive game. I mean, he had a good game last week. I just don't know if they're going to need him that much. But yeah, I don't know. Kyle Pitts finally went off. Hunter Henry's in play. Noto, who's your fave?
Yeah, you know how many times Chig has scored double-digit fantasy points this season?
0?
0. So if he's going to be the chalk, I'm fine looking elsewhere. Like the Tucker Kraft call. Good matchup. You mentioned Watson's probably going to be out. I like Njoku as well. Chicago is really tough against the run. They're pretty good against receivers, and they're almost dead last against tight ends. So I know we don't like playing tight ends coming off the big game, but yeah, he's had 9, 6, and 8 targets the last 3 weeks. So I do like Njoku. I like the Ferguson call. And I really wish Dawson Knox wasn't back because I do like Dalton Kincaid quite a bit. But his role didn't change that much, but he was just running a lot of shorter routes with Knox back. And they ran, more 12 personnel. But I don't know if I could pay 5-3 for him against the Cowboys.
I played Cade Otton last week. Every tight end got there basically, like every play got there. But I have no problem going back to him again, especially if Godwin is going to end up potentially out for this game. With I think he's like going to be a true game time decision again with a knee. But I don't know, Bobby. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like McBride. I think he's someone I'm pretty interested in. George Kittle, the other passing game weapon in that San Fran offense that no one wants to play, or they don't want to throw the ball to because they just want to throw to Debo every single game at this point. But yeah, him and Ayuk I like a good bit. Ferguson at 4.8, I don't mind. Can get to him. I think he's going to be somewhat low owned. It's one of the higher scoring games on the slate. It is the highest scoring game on the slate. Pace is great, so don't mind him at all. Hunter Henry got there on Thursday night. He's cheap down at 3.2. We're going to need savings. Don't mind me some Hunter Henry. Dalton Schultz at 4.9 with Davis Mills. He's the only pass catcher that we really has a resume, I would say, currently. So don't mind getting to him in my pool. Outside of that, there's not a ton. Not playing Kyle Pitts. I know people will try to play Kyle Pitts after last week, and it'll probably be Njoku. Not trying to figure that out. You could, but I don't know. If you're playing MME, it's fine, but I'm not in any of my single entry stuff for sure. 100% not doing that. Logan Thomas at 3.7. Like him a lot, actually.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. So I just pulled up that the Rams have given up the most touchdowns to tight ends.
Tight end position, yeah. I like Logan Thomas a good bit. That's pretty much it. I haven't played Njoku all year, so like if I'm going to miss every single game that he's gone off, I don't know. It's too late for me to jump on the train.
All right, I forgot to do this. I forgot to talk about the PFF matchup advantages. So I'll start with tight end right now and just look at who has the best matchup. Kittle comes in at the top. Hawkins. Oh no, that's the Saturday slate. Laporta. It's Kittle, Laporta, Ferguson, and Njoku for the best matchup advantages. Then Logan Thomas is close. And then I'm just going to peek over at wide receiver because I know some people like to hear it. Wow, they love – we should know this, but Ayuk and Debo are coming in as the top two right at the top. Olave, Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, and then DJ Moore and Mike Evans. So looks like all systems go for Brock Purdy if he wants it. He's got the top tight end matchup and the top two wide receiver matchup. So fade McCaffrey, double stack Purdy is what that says to me. And I like the fact that Noto, that you said, made the call about it seems like that they're just not just running CMC down their throats now that he's got the MVP in this sites. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Who wants the defensive segment? Does Bobby want to redeem himself, or does he want to pass it off like he did?
I'll do.
Dude,
I can take a defense. Like, I'm gonna go the Jets at 2,500.
My favorite. Love it.
There we go. Arm in arm.
Woo! Sorry, no, you want to
Woo! Arm in
There
arm.
it is.
There it is.
I'm telling you, man, this offensive line is trash right now. You saw it and how that game played out, and if they're going to be in a lot of trouble if Tyreek is out in this game, I think. Any catch your eye? Other ones that are going to be popular. The popular ones are going to be. Looks like the Bills. Is that true? Bills, Rams, Browns. Bills because they were cheap. I don't know. I don't trust any of this ownership stuff right now. I think the Rams and the Browns make a lot of sense. People are going to go there. I wasn't thinking the Bills would be that big, but where do they have the Jets for ownership? Jets aren't that high. I mean, the Jets are the play.
I like the Pats a little bit.
Yeah, they're not bad either for 2,300, except that their offense can put them in terrible positions potentially. Yeah. The Bears.
Can the Pats win this game?
I don't. Yeah. No, I don't think so. But
can they cover the 8.5 for my bet?
I teased KC earlier. You know how I love the nice Wong. I bet the Pats against Pittsburgh pretty heavily.
What am I doing for this bet? You guys going to put me in the right direction?
Bobby, you're putting us in the right direction.
It's called Bobby.
We're here. We're here for you. We need this.
Yeah. Is the Dallas game in? Where's the Dallas game? Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Oh, that's not great. I'll take the 5.5 with Washington.
Wow, that's contrarian.
The line's moving away from them too.
Bobby bets.
I like it.
I don't know if I like it. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
You gotta just fake it. You already said it. You gotta pretend. You gotta roll with it now.
Don't I get a mulligan?
All right. So okay, here we go, Bobby. There's somebody watching this show right now who's almost dead broke from gambling. Right? Been betting on just way too many losers. Can't hit his single game parlays. Nothing's going well, and he needs one play to get him back in the mix here, or else he's done. Where are you gonna? And he's asking you, Bobby Gomes, who went 3-0 last week, and he didn't listen to, but he needs your help now. What do you
listen to? You listen to all the other guys who actually know what they're doing. I'll take the Pats.
Oh.
Okay, I like
this guy's for all of his this guy could be on the street.
Zappy magic.
All right.
I need this 4. I'm fucked for 4-0. Bleep that out.
Hey, last week you swapped to the Bears and it was a good call. So
I teased the Bears too. I love the Bears. I lost big on somebody. I know. Oh, remember someone was saying how they were mad at me for calling the Eagles a fraud. I think Bobby said it too. But someone was mad at me in the chat.
They're pretty fraudulent though.
I mean, what I said though, like I'm just their it's just tough to like take them seriously when their defense is like this, right? Like, and that's
they have like someone, and it might have been Big T tweeted out they have like a high school secondary or something.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, I it's nothing personal with Philly. I just don't think the defense is ready. I love Big Dom for all you Philly fans. I love Big Dom. The guy's electric. All right. Favorite stacks. I think I know mine. I'm going to start it off because I've already once I saw the Pro Football Focus stuff, I think I'm just double stacking Purdy, calling it a day in my single entry stuff. and I'll roll with that for the small field, single entries type of contests. And for large field, I think I'm just going to get Justin Fields, and I'm just going to play it with DJ Moore. And then, but the question is who do I run it back with from the Browns?
Why do you have to run it back?
I don't, and I didn't last week, especially in smaller
Don't
field
run
stuff.
it back.
You don't.
I think if you look at Sims, like the idea of running it back is like awful. We've all been lied to for the last 5-8 years of DFS. Like, yeah, you're getting more. You're getting more things right if you get it, but
yeah, but I mean, I think it's game dependent. You know what I mean? And I think like when you have like these teams, everyone like forces it in because they force in the rule in their optimizer. But when you like, I used to play Lamar naked before, and everyone was like making fun of me way back. I remember I had like a top 20 million maker team that almost won, and it was like everyone was like Lamar naked, and I had to bring back. But you gotta look at each game and just play your game script. So like it would have worked perfectly if I had the balls last week with my Justin Fields and DJ Moore if I just played the defense, the Chicago Bears defense, which I almost did, and I should have, and it cost me about an extra 20,000. But whatever. All right, Noto, what do you got?
Yeah, this was not planned, but I like Josh Allen naked. So without a stack, and then bring it back with CD. That's a little bit opposite of what you guys were saying with no bring back, but I think Allen can get there on the ground. I think he can score, once or twice with his legs, and then CD, I just don't think he's going to get the ownership he deserves. And I think you can use that in small field or large field.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a sharp call, actually. I might actually play naked Allen, too. I usually don't play naked QBs naked. I like the Purdy call, I like the Fields call. I'm gonna go Howell. Go Howell, Curtis Samuel.
I like it. I'll have a team like that too.
Those will be like my 4 like main quarterbacks. I think that we all kind of just threw out there. So yeah, Howell.
All right. It's a wrap. Any final words for the people? Comments? Do we want them anymore or not? We don't even want them, right?
We don't even
hit the thumbs up.
You don't have anything nice to say?
Comment.
Just don't say anything at all. Like that's the thing. Is like I've never like commented on so like if I don't like something, I just like move on to it, right? Like I don't feel the need to comment about like you know what I mean? It's like.
But I think you're more likely to comment if you don't like it than if you do. Like all the shows I watch, I never like leave a nice review when I should.
But do you leave bad reviews?
No. But
I don't think I've ever commented on a video.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right.
Except like Paul Pierce ones on YouTube, where I get fired up because they tell me he sucks. He doesn't suck. It's the craziest thing ever.
Every Celtics or
yeah. If you look on Paul Pierce, like people bashing him, you might see me commenting.
Oh, I love Paul Pierce.
He's the best. He's the best. So clutch. I was thinking the other day about the Draymond thing. And like Draymond calling out Paul is like everything that Draymond isn't, in my opinion. Just like cool as can be under pressure, game winners. I don't know. When he said you want to be Kobe or whatever. Paul was MVP of the finals with Kobe. Not saying he's better than Kobe by any means, but he was MVP of the finals, and he's going against Kobe. So,
do you see that was one of the reasons Ohtani signed with the Dodgers? It was a Kobe video.
Yeah, great.
Kind of cool.
Love.
It had nothing to do with bets and the money and Freeman and Glasnow that they traded.
$700 million had nothing to do with the $700 million.
Yeah.
They
deferred, and now he's going to be the next Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, it's a lot of those guys. Like Chris Davis still getting paid from Baltimore. Chris Davis.
Is he really?
I think so. He had like one of the words. That was like the word. He was so juiced up, hit all those home runs, signed a huge contract. obviously this is my theory, just a theory. I'm not saying it's true or not. And then got off the juice and just because he didn't want to risk losing his contract money and became the worst player of probably like all time for a couple of seasons.
How many of these guys aren't doing stuff though?
I mean, they all are. I know.
They're all on something, right? Like,
I think so. I mean, I've got pretty good reason to believe.
Baseball, like I can't take baseball. Like Barry Bonds, Manny, they're not in the Hall of Fame. Like it's crazy.
Let them all in. It's like you're gonna go back.
No one cares. Yeah, we know what happened. Put the asterisk.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap. We really went off on a tangent there. We'll probably get a bunch of steroid comments or whatnot, but
I think Noto's juicing for the shows.
Yeah, I actually tried to bulk up in the summer, gained like 12 pounds. It's all gone now.
Well, summer's coming back again. Not over here.
Yeah, not here anytime
so
soon.
Miserable. I don't know why I live here.
This is half the reason why we're on here so dead. You just
we live in the freaking cold. It's all dark, cold. We pay the highest taxes. We pay the highest rent. We pay the highest cost of living. And what do we get for it? Cold, smack in the
mayor
face.
Not letting people go to the holiday party. Do you see that one?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Happy to say. All right, I gotta run.
The greenheads or whatever. What are they called?
I don't even know what the whole story was, but it was not. I guess it's not for the show. I would say.
All right, that's a wrap on that note. It's been the RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast, week 15 edition. We'll see you back next week for week 16. Thank you.